What are your funniest NSFW jokes? Two men are out hunting. One of them goes into the bushes to take a leak. A few moments later, there's a scream. The man's buddy runs up. "What happened to you?" The buddy asks. "A snake bit me in the dick," he answers, pointing to said snake. "Kicked to death. Call the doctors." The buddy picks up his phone, makes the call. "Doctor's office, how can we help you? My friend got bitten by a snake." "What did it look like?" "Red with yellow stripes." "I see. You have to suck out the poison, understand?" "Yes, I understand." He hangs up. "Come on. What did they say?" "She says you're dead, mate." This is Australia, ain't it? The version I remember, it was the Lone Ranger getting bitten, and Tonto rides into town, where the doctor tells him to suck out the poison. When Tonto returns, the Lone Ranger asks, "What did the doctor say?" And Tonto replies, "The doctor says you're going to die, Kemasabe." A penguin Zach in his car goes out while driving through town on a hot day. He pulls into a mechanic repair shop to have them take a look at it. While waiting, the penguin feels it's too hot to just be standing around waiting, so he waddles over to the ice cream store and orders an ice cream cone to cool off. He heads back to the mechanic after they finish diagnosing the issue with his car. "It looks like you blew a seal," the mechanic told him. "What?" "No," the penguin says, while wiping his chin. "That's just ice cream." I've heard variants of this one, where they get more specific about the ice cream melting all over him, but they kinda give the punk line away. I like this one better. https www.youtup.com watch v6l1gvdwtcci https www.youtup.com watch v6l1gvdwtcci. So I pulled into a Shell station. They said I'd blown a seal. I said, "Fix the damn thing and leave my private life out of it, okay pal?" Larry comes home to find a gorilla on his roof. After calling several animal control numbers in the phone book, he finally calls a man who thinks he can handle this gorilla. The man arrives at the house in a white pickup truck with his dog in the passenger seat and a rifle in the back. He hands the rifle to Larry and says, "So here's what we are gonna do. I'm going to climb up onto your roof and scare the gorilla off. Once he hits the ground, I've trained my dog to go bite his nuts and shake them until the gorilla passes out. After that I'll load him up and go release him in the hills." Larry thinks about it and decides the plan isn't half bad and may actually work. "But why'd you give me the rifle? If I fall off the roof, shoot the dog." Edit: though didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks all for the awards. I had archived it from jokes sometime in the last decade. Glad I was able to make so many people laugh today. This one legit made me laugh. Haha. I heard this, but with a bear, not a gorilla. Good one. Sex is like playing bridge. If you don't have a good partner, you better have a good hand. Sounds like Ucha. Feo, this was a line in Dayupa's Culture Shock album. Joe wanted to buy a Harley motorcycle. He doesn't have much luck until one day he comes across a Harley with a for sale sign on it. The bike looks better than a new one, although it is 10 years old. It's shiny and in great condition. He buys it and asks the seller how he kept it in such great condition for 10 years. "Well, it's quite simple," says the seller. "Whenever the bike is outside and it's gonna rain, rub Vaseline on the chrome as it protects it from the rain," and he hands Joe a jar of Vaseline. That night, his girlfriend, Sandra, invites him over to meet her parents. Naturally, they take the bike there. Just before they enter the house, Sandra stops him and says, "I have to tell you something about my family. When we eat dinner, we don't talk. In fact, the first person who says anything during dinner has to do the dishes." "No problem," he says. And in they go. Joe is shocked. Point right in the middle of the living room is a huge stack of dirty dishes. In the kitchen is another huge stack of dishes. Piled up on the stairs, in the corridor, everywhere he looks, dirty dishes. They sit down to dinner, and sure enough, no one says a word. As dinner progresses, Joe decides to take advantage of the situation. He leans over and kisses Sandra. No one says a word. He reaches over and fondles her breasts. Nobody says a word. So he stands up, grabs her, rips her clothes off, throws her on the table and screws her, right there in front of her parents. His girlfriend is a little flustered. Her dad is obviously livid and her mom horrified when he sits back down, but no one says a word. He looks at her mom. She's got a great body too. Joe grabs mom, bends her over the table, pulls down her panties, and screws her every which way, but loose right there on the dinner table. She has a big orgasm, and Joe sits down. His girlfriend is furious, her dad is boiling, and mom is beaming from ear to ear. But still, total silence. All of a sudden there is a loud clap of thunder, and it starts to rain. Joe remembers his bike, so he pulls the jar of Vaseline from his pocket. Suddenly the father shouts, "I'll do the fucking dishes." I heard this in the 6th grade and looked at the guy who told me like he was a fucking idiot. BC I had no clue what he meant, probably for the better. That's pretty damned good, and despite hearing a lot of NSFW jokes in my time, this isn't one I'm familiar with.